Welcome everyone, and happy Thursday. This is your favorite show on Thursdays, Talent Experience Live, the show that covers everything that you need to know in talent acquisition, recruiting, artificial intelligence, and human resources as a whole. I, of course, am your host, Devin Foster, and this lovely program is proudly brought to you by the good folks here at Phenom, whose, stop me if you've heard this before, purpose is to help 1 billion people find the right job. The way that we do this, I thought you'd never ask. We do it through our intelligent talent experience platform, which helps candidates find the right fit faster, employees evolve in their current roles and beyond, recruiters achieve next level productivity and efficiency, and managers build better teams through data analytics and automation. Now, you cannot mention automation without, of course, mentioning artificial intelligence, or AI as we call it here, or the kids call it. All of this intelligent talent experience platform is powered by super slick artificial intelligence and machine learning. So if any of this interests you at all, head on over to phenom.com to learn more, where at the top of the page you will most likely still see a promo for AI Day. This is an event that we put on annually, and it actually happened last Thursday. I know you missed an episode of Talent Experience Live, but luckily we were still broadcasting live here from the booming metropolis of Ambler, Pennsylvania. And AI Day, quite frankly, it was a groundbreaking technical showcase, something that you'd find in the Olympics if the Olympics looked at artificial intelligence. But really what we did was we brought together a number of field experts and innovators to explore the latest advancements and trends shaping what we're calling our AI-driven future. And on this episode of Talent Experience Live, rather than bring on a new guest, we said we had 4 hours of content. The people need to see this. They need to see more of it. So we decided to go through some of our favorite parts, pull out some clips for you. That way, if you haven't seen it, you may be enticed to, head on over there, watch your favorite portions of that 4 hour long live stream, or potentially head on over to the blog and just check out the recap. That way, for your next meeting, you can sound like the smartest person in the room. Who doesn't love that? So without any further hesitation, I want to dive right into AI Day. And we really started by talking about the state of artificial intelligence and what it means. And we had a brilliant keynote by our CEO and co-founder, Mahi, who really broke it down on where AI was, where it is now, and where it's heading before we dove into some of the more complex topics surrounding it and more technical features. So without any further hesitation, here's Mahi and a little bit of his introduction point of view.
In the last 1 year, we have generative AI. We started using generative AI when GPT-2 came out, and we didn't really find the use cases really concrete. So what we did is we started looking at how generative AI can be the language of today, and how we can make sure it's a transformational opportunity so that we can take advantage to make the HR ecosystem a lot more unique than it ever been. Every CEO, every CHRO want to use generative AI, but here is the problem. You're taking 2 big steps without data quality, without data infrastructure, without data literacy within your teams, and without data privacy into the thought process. Because on a global companies, these are all critical.
Mahi's session, or opening keynote, I should say, was one of my favorites. I loved the entire presentation, the deck, a few of the shout outs that he gave the marketing team there. But overall, one of the key takeaways from Mahi's session was that he talked about all of the hype surrounding artificial intelligence. And I think we all know that this is nothing new. For years, ever since the Will Smith movie, I, Robot, we've been anxiously awaiting this incoming generative AI where robots are going to rule the world. And Mahi kind of slowed the roll on that a little bit and said there is a lot of hype, introduced why it came about, and talked about how to maybe avoid the hype per se, but to focus on what really matters when it comes to artificial intelligence. Here's the clip.
Now, there is a lot of hype, there is no doubt about it, but the last 10 years, AI is going in multiple different dimensions. Now, let me really give you the thought about what does the hype cycle Gartner really puts together this year. All AI is not hyped. the most hyped right now, the peak, is for Gen AI and the foundational models. That's where the hype is. But if you look at the last 10 years, there are things which actually plateaued and really became stable. Intelligence applications become way more stable than ever. On top of it, you can also think about knowledge graphs, dynamic content. All this really became super stable. In terms of how you can use this data, make sense, build context, and really think about thoughts in an entirely different format. Autonomous cars is another one which actually made computer vision really scale at a different scale. Now, these things can happen at a rapid clip. Now, let me give you a thought. In 1900s, this is Fifth Avenue, New York City. There is only one car, rest is all horses. This is the primary means of commute. In 1913, there is one horse, rest is all cars. If you really think about technology and how technology is played in the landscape, if it is easy to use, it's production ready, and if it is affordable, people will adopt at a rate where you cannot even imagine. And that's what is going on with AI right now. The most important thing for HR to think about is don't be the person on the horse. Be first into the whole equation of AI and really be part of the whole equation so that it can make you a lot better than where you are.
Now, the next thing that Mahi spoke about is specifically around this hype of artificial intelligence was how so many folks were fearful that AI was going to take their jobs. And Mahi really put it in layman's terms and explained that good artificial intelligence, or even great artificial intelligence, is more like a co-pilot. And he used an example from one of everyone's favorite movies of the summer, Top Gun. So without any further hesitation, here's Mahi talking about how artificial intelligence is a co-pilot to you.
Think any generative AI apps are like co-pilots. They're continuously supporting your actions, but give you insights which you have never thought about. But within your data realm, it cannot give you something outside from it. The most important thing what we really talk about right now is how we do this. What is the AI infrastructure we use? What's the infrastructure in the back end? We'll really cover different pieces in this. So these are the different layers of AI what we use. The first one is experience context, then the data design, and the knowledge graphs. In the knowledge graphs, it's all about how do you curate the data and really make sure they're semantically related. Then you get into the data engine, which is all about you have humongous data really flowing in. How do you make it sensible through all connections? And then you think about experience context. Based on who is the user, how do you make it relevant? And that relevancy is where all the game of AI is in terms of what you really do.
Now, co-pilots are great when you're flying planes. But realistically, most talent acquisition teams, recruitment teams, and human resources teams aren't flying any planes. And hopefully they're not losing them somewhere over the Atlantic as well. Of course, I kid. This episode won't replay well after we lose a $35 million jet. But neither here nor there. We had Kumar come on, who is one of our product leads on the team here at Phenom. And he talked about real world use cases because realistically, you are not going to be flying a $35 million plane, but you will need to leverage artificial intelligence and use it in the real world. So here's Kumar.
Let me show you some of the real-world use cases of generative AI that we've deployed in our platform and how our customers are using this today. So here's the CRM. A recruiter is logging into the CRM, and one of the most important things that the recruiters do on a day-to-day basis is really start sending emails to candidates. There's a lot of communication and collaboration that's happening. Here you can see a recruiter just asking X+, which is our generative AI platform, to generate a message based on certain requirements. Here's an invite to apply. Within seconds, the generative AI is generating that message. The platform also allows you to really rephrase outcomes, change the tone, but all of this is in context of the recruiter, right? And within seconds, the email is generated. So this is a simple example of generative AI, but let's think about something that's day-to-day. recruiters are rejecting candidates or changing hiring statuses. As soon as a hiring status changes to a reject, the platform says, hey, you just changed the status to a reject. Do you want to send a nice rejection email to the candidate? And yes, within seconds, you have a pretty robust email that represents how the recruiter talks to candidates, and the email is generated from that context. Similarly, let's say candidates are coming in and sources are trying to assign these candidates to jobs. That's a common practice that happens in the platform. And now the platform is already asking, hey, do you want me to invite this candidate to apply? Everything in line with the recruiter action. So the whole idea here is, how do you intercept the day-to-day flow of your users and introduce generative AI to bring about to productivity?
Now for the next clip, we had Chad Stieglitz come on, and he talked about really the importance of integrations, because when we think about adding another piece of technology to our tech stack, that's all good and well, as long as it connects and you're able to transfer information. I know for one, I get more frustrated than anything in the world when my Bluetooth headphones won't connect. So I can't imagine spending, thousands and thousands of dollars on HR technology only for it not to integrate. So in this clip, Chad specifically talks about end-to-end integration and how you can do it through little to no code.
So now as we think about where we start, we have our API configuration. Think of this as a catalyst or the starting point. So as we go through, you'll see a list of all of our different applications that we have to be able to set it up. And then we can actually go in, and if you want to create your own API, you have the ability to go up to the top right, and then you can click on that. And that's going to take you directly into our no-code, low-code framework. We have a set of templates all throughout your library. So here it's seamless. You choose your system of record. You choose what APIs or the version that you're going to choose. If you have any kind of middlewares, you'll select that, and then we're going to deploy it against which environment you want to set. Now you'll see you can go in and start setting up what type of integration flow is there what version and what set and what kind of authentication types. You'll type in your base URL, then you can save it, and then now you can begin to configure it. So if we take a look at a live API, we can start looking about all the different information that we brought in. So specifically, if we go in, we can click on apply, and then we can open that up, and there you have your name, you see the integration flow, the method, if you have any authentication types. And as you start to scroll down, you're going to see there's where we've entered in your base credentials, that's where we've started into your base URLs, and now we can start extracting from those endpoints and creating different actions that we want to set up. If you need to make any changes, you can do that live on the fly, and then you can save it and put it into that environment you had just looked at. We've built this tool to make it extremely intuitive to be able to say, this is where this is going to go, and this is where it's going to flow to. And why that's so important, we're enabling you to be able to do this, and now your AI can further be enriched to be able to understand contextually your applicants, the way your system works, and how you want to bring it all together.
Chad's session was absolutely great. If you need it for, any of your next meetings with the CTO or any of the HRIS folks, definitely head on over to the blog, check it out, or you could just clip up some of the episode that is on YouTube right now, live stream that is on YouTube now. But our next clip is from Lindsay Morrow, and it kind of gets back to a little bit more of our bread and butter here at Phenom, what we're known for, which is personalized experience. Lindsay, and this particular clip breaks down how AI can curate those personalized experience to really lighten the load for your talent acquisition or HR team.
Leveraging AI, we curate personalized experiences that match the right candidate to the right job. And in this section, we'll show you how we've harnessed the power of AI for the unique needs of HR in order to convert top candidates into qualified applicants, enabling our customers to move from a place of talent scarcity to a place of talent prosperity.
We're going to keep it with Lindsay on this next clip. In this one, she talks about how AI is only as good as the experience that it provides. And I think we've all had this poor AI experience from one time or another. It may be when you're trying to get customer service help and you can't get rerouted because it's not understanding your particular question. Or maybe you experimented with some of the generative AI tools out online. I know a few weeks back, I had an episode with Josh Gorin, and he had shared lawyers using generative AI to help with their caseloads and cite examples. It made it up. That's a bad experience. And in this clip, Lindsay specifically talks about how AI is only as good as the experience that it will provide at the end of the day.
Now, AI is only as good as the experience it ultimately provides. And for a candidate, that means not just finding a job, but finding the right job. And so we'll show you the specialized and advanced AI technologies that power Phenom's career sites, including personalized search, dynamic job recommendations, and conversational AI that engages your candidates throughout every step of their journey.
Lindsay was a fantastic help throughout all of AI Day. She did a tremendous amount of emceeing and also had some great sessions. So special thank you to Lindsay. But for this next clip, we are going to see Rena Dewan talks about the journey of personalization here at Phenom. Let's check it out.
Imagine you're on a job search and you hop from one career site to another, but what do you find? The same job recommendations over and over again. It's like Bill's relentless repeat in Groundhog Day. Stale, predictable, and not at all reflective of your unique career goals. Today, we're about to shift gears. We're stepping away from the déjà vus and moving towards fresh, tailored experiences for every job seeker. Because every career journey is different, it's time our recommendations reflected that. Introducing Audience Personalized Widgets, or APW for short. Those days of one-size-fits-all static widgets are gone. Our widgets, informed by real-time data, are strategically positioned for optimal exposure, and they can adapt across any page, and it resonates with diverse personas, anywhere from a stranger to an applicant. Now we've grown to boast over 20 personalization widgets, which are powered by the powerful learn-to-rank algorithm, and APW doesn't just sit there, it actively interprets and responds to the user, ensuring a tailored experience every time.
All right, now one of my favorite presenters from all of AI Day was Sean O'Donnell. And specifically, his session was talking to you, the recruiters, at the end of the day. Obviously, AI Day as a whole was very technical. It got a little bit in the weeds, if you will, from time to time. And you as a recruiter at home may have tuned in and thought, this doesn't apply to me. API integrations, all sorts of back-end machine learning, natural language processing, natural language understanding. I'm just trying to get candidates. So Sean's session specifically talked about the recruiter experience and how generative AI like Phenom X Plus can help you in your day-to-day tasks. Here's Sean.
And I'm talking to the recruiters out there. I know what's going through your head. There's a few things. One, oh my Lord, there is another piece of software I need to learn. Two, I'm always so busy, I don't have time for this. Three, is this AI going to take my job? Well, I can tell you, and hopefully you'll see throughout this section, that we can allay all those fears, that this could actually help you in the long run. Now, we're going to be talking about a few different parts of it. We're going to be talking about the search, which really isn't so much a search anymore. We like to refer to it as intelligent sourcing. So it looks for external and internal candidates automatically. You don't have to write Booleans, or you don't even have to tell the machine what it is you're looking for. It will infer what you're looking for to start the process. Next, it gets powered by the fit score. So as we create candidate experiences that give you thousands and thousands of resumes, how are you going to sort through them easily and effectively? That's what FitScore will do for you. Next, it's going to adapt to your actions. So how it suggests things in the beginning isn't how it's going to suggest 3 months from now. That feedback model that Ilya talked about is going to be at play here, so keep a lookout for that. You don't need to know what to search for in the future. You're just going to tell us who you like, and we're going to figure out for you what search would have found them and reproduce that for you. So that'll be a pretty cool thing. You can see that in the candidate embedding. And then finally, scheduling. I can't believe we even have to talk about scheduling anymore. I mean, is anybody doing long division? Anyone? No? We use calculators and Excel, right? Scheduling's the same way. There shouldn't be a conversation. Are you available at 10 o'clock on Tuesday? The machine can figure that out. You can talk to them, and then it can marry the interview together. And then the last thing you'll learn about today is the X Plus bot. So whether it is composing an email or a job description, or being lost in the maze of software and just asking a simple question, how do I do this? The XBot recruiter will give you the answer.
And simply because we haven't had him on, one of our favorite recurring guests is this last clip. It's JD, and he shares sort of a recap on some of the main parts that stood out to him throughout all of AI Day. Obviously, it's 4.5 hours of content. A lot of folks may not have been able to sit through the whole thing, but fear not. Luckily, we shared some clips with you today, as well as you can always watch it on demand. Check out the comments, the questions that are in there. You can check it out on YouTube, or you can always just schedule a phone call up with Phenom, maybe request a demo while you're at it and see all of this actually work. But without any further hesitation, I'm going to hand it over to JD to wrap up AI Day.
I think the couple parts that stood out at me. Mahi talked about job zones, work zones. And when you think about job zones and work zones, you really start thinking about how AI applies to very, very specific areas of your organization related to hiring, development, and retention. Right? AI plays across all of those in very specific zones. He also keyed in on contextual-based models. And so you really need contextual-based models, data models, LLMs to make the biggest impact to your environment. So that's really key. I mean, we started wrapping up this session talking about from a legislation perspective, from a safety perspective. So that is crucial to any successful deployment. You have to really have confidence in what AI is doing, not doing, affecting, or not affecting in your environment. And overall, the use cases around Gen AI that we demonstrated show that efficiency and productivity reach work-altering new levels.
There you have it. That's just a little recap of AI Day. Obviously, we have the blog to accompany it if you have any more interest, or you can watch the entire 4.5 hour live stream over and over again. You can play it while you sleep. You can throw it on Friday night for a movie night, maybe grab some popcorn as well. It is certainly something that is entertaining. I personally suggest breaking it down maybe into 2 or 3 parts. That's what I did with Barbie movie. I enjoyed it much more. But nonetheless, AI Day was a great success. We received a ton of great feedback, not only from the organization, but some of our customers and clients wanted to ask about specific features and how they could implement them as soon as possible. So you definitely want to check that out. Again, we do this annually. Can't wait to do it again next year and hope that you are able to attend then. But in the meantime, share this with your friends, loved ones, and colleagues. And as always, thank you for joining TXL. We have a very special guest next week. We're going to be joined by our partner, AMS, and we're specifically talking about employer brands. So we're going to stem away from AI a little bit, but I'm sure it's going to make its way back into the conversation. It's just one of those things that seems to always come up, is artificial intelligence. But it's almost like it should have its own day or something along those lines. But neither here nor there. I want to thank you all. I hope everyone has a happy and healthy weekend, and we will see you next week for our conversation on employer branding with AMS. Thanks so much. Have a great day.